Some of the critics of this research complain that this is just anecdotes. Well, actually, if you look at the history of science, all science starts as collecting anecdotes and then finding patterns among those different stories. This is a quote from Bruce Grayson, a psychiatrist and professor of psychiatric medicine and neurobehavioral sciences at the University of Virginia. Dr. Grayson is also a near-death experience researcher. Hi my loves, and welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. In this video today, we're going to be talking about the death experience. What happens after we die, after the soul passes on? Is there life after life? As I was doing research on this topic and just looking at all the different anecdotes from people that experienced an NDE, which by the way, this is a big topic, you guys. NDE is a big topic, near-death experience. There are millions of people across the world that had a near-death experience. And as I was researching that topic and I went down that rabbit hole, I found that all of these people said the same thing, very similar experiences. Obviously, let me just put this out there. We all don't know what's going to happen after we pass on, right? That is something that we will all eventually come to find out. And I encourage you to do your own research. And of course, we all have our own opinions. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing that I talk about here is like, this is 100% true and this is exactly what happens. But hey, when you have, all of these thousands of people backed up by research from scientists, from psychologists, from neurosurgeons, it does give some validity to the topic, in my opinion. And, funny enough, this is something that I have been resonating with for a very long time, even prior to me starting the research on this topic. I know for a lot of you out there, I know for myself as well, we've dealt with death and grief and loss. And for me personally, when I learned to view death in this way of we're infinite beings and really there is an energy aspect to us that lives on even after death, it helped me understand it better and it helped me make peace with it better. And most importantly for me personally, it helped me no longer feel fear with the topic of death. I think talking about it and informing ourselves can help to ease some of that anxiety and maybe even eliminate the fear of death that maybe some of us may feel. Dr. Grayson, along with other medical professionals, which we'll talk about in a bit, claim that during his research, he has found that all of the people that have had an NDE, near-death experience, share this feeling of immense love after passing on. That is a theme that you guys will be hearing about from me throughout all of this video, because that is something that everyone shares. They are met with great love after passing on. Some of the researchers and the doctors say that, a lot of people have this fear of passing on alone, that they'll be alone once they cross over. But they all say that they are not alone. We're not even alone when we're here and we don't even know it. But when we pass on, we are also not alone. We are met with guides that have been there with us throughout our whole journey. During this video, I am also going to talk about Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon is a hypnotherapist who specializes in past life regression. So Dolores Cannon is known to have taken a lot of people all throughout the world. She did this for many, many years on a journey through hypnosis to examine past life, how past life affects the life they are in right now, how to heal issues from past life so that they no longer carry over to this life. And when doing this, she takes people through the death experience. So when I was researching Dolores Cannon, and I do believe in a lot of her work, because some of the things she's mentioned that people see once they go through the death experience are things that I have been told about, specifically the healing room. And she even mentions this in her books And her talks here on YouTube, there are a lot of videos posted about Dolores Cannon on the talks she gave. She would go out and do conferences all over the world if you guys want to check those out. But she even says, you know, everyone says the same thing. They all say the same thing. What are the odds of people that would never know about each other, all scattered all over the world, saying the same thing when they're taken through hypnosis, through past life regression, through the death experience? And the stories of these people very much line up with what doctors and researchers have to say. They are always met by someone after passing on, and they always feel relief. That's one thing she talks about. And that's something that everyone talks about here. Two of those doctors, which I want to mention here today, are Neal. She's an orthopedic surgeon at the University of Southern California, and she actually also published a book. She published 2 books, I think. One of them is Heaven and Back, and that's based on her near-death experience. I also want to talk about Dr. Eben. He's a neurosurgeon who wrote about his near-death experience. He published a book as well. It's called Proof of Heaven, a Neurosurgeon's Journey into the Afterlife. So I'm gonna talk about Neal's story because she's the one I mostly learned about. So Neal, the orthopedic surgeon, she was out bike riding, like out in the mountains by rivers, and she suffered a really big injury to her spine, I believe, where she was pronounced dead. And of course, you know, with all of the technology we have nowadays, we are quite literally able to bring people back from that state. All of them are met with people and the other side, beings that they don't recognize right away, but that they deep down feel a deep connection to. They all describe having a distorted sense of time. There is no concept of time once they pass over. I know Neal said that when she was there, she felt like months had passed by, like literally months. Once they're there, they talk about seeing beautiful colors, vibrant colors, music that they could never have heard before, otherworldly music, beautiful spaces. I know a lot of them describe like a very beautiful forest, but that's something Dolores Cannon talks about. Is she says you construct your own idea of heaven. So whatever makes you feel comforted and whatever you describe as heaven, that's where you will go to. A lot of them talk about like beautiful scenery once they get there. And a lot of them talk about not wanting to leave once they're there. You guys, this is a thing that most of them say. They don't want to leave. They say that once they have passed over, like they look at their body and they're just like, you know, my family will be okay after a while. Like, I want to stay here. This is my home. It's a feeling of coming home. It's a feeling of finally feeling free and surrounded by unconditional love, finally being one with Source. They all describe not wanting to leave, wanting to stay. Dolores Cannon talks about how really the ones that suffer are the ones that are left behind. She says once people pass on, they're happy. They feel free. Most of us that stay behind, she says, they're the ones that feel the pain. But you have to be willing to let go of the selfishness of wanting to keep them there, especially if they've been fighting, you know, illness for a long time. They're tired. They're ready to pass on. That's also another thing she says. When people pass on, they're ready to pass on. She says that all of that you've already agreed to before coming here. We've agreed, much like we have agreed to certain events in our lives, we've agreed as to when we're going to pass on. I know this can be very hard to understand for those of us that have lost someone young in our lives, but she says that everyone serves their purpose, you know, everyone serves their purpose, and their incarnation here on earth and them passing on that early could leave behind a certain lesson to the family, to people around them. At the end of the day, they serve their purpose. They're ready to go, and they're ready to go. They also say that once you pass on, you realize how much of an illusion this all was. Like they cross over and they say, wow, it really was all just a game. It really was just all an illusion. It was all an illusion. It was just all a play. They say, all the characters in my life, you know, we all agreed to come here together and they'll be fine and we'll meet again. And you are also able to communicate with those souls once you pass over. You're able to see them. you're able to communicate with souls after you pass over as well. But yeah, they just say that it's all an illusion. Now, it's not to say that once you're here in this life incarnated, it doesn't matter, because we all came here with a purpose. And that's something big that I want to emphasize in this video, because for all of those people that I'm talking about that had their near-death experience, that did not want to go back, that wanted to stay, and again, all of them say the same thing. They're told it's not your time yet. It's not your time yet. And I noticed that a big theme for all of these people that had the near-death experience and that are talking out about it, they learned a big lesson from that near-death experience. A lot of them were on autopilot for most of their lives up until that moment. A lot of them were just unhappy, not expressing gratitude, just basically living on autopilot. I'm sure a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. Our incarnation here is a school. We came here to evolve our souls. We came here to learn. We are literally creators, and this is all a play. You are able to influence the lives of so many people, you guys. A lot of the things that these people are shown when they have their near-death experience is how much of an influence we have on other people. A lot of them talk about a life review. This is something that Dolores Cannon talks about as well. She says there are levels to where you go to after you pass on. She has been shown these levels, and part of these levels I have been told about as well. So when I learned about it, I felt very validated, and I felt like, okay, you're not crazy. There's someone out there that focuses on this type of research. She is bringing this up and she's talking about it in such great detail. It's resonating to a whole other level of my being. It has to be for a reason. Hello from future me here. So there are actually 3 levels that Dolores Cannon talks about that we are able to go to after we transition. We have the lower astral, middle astral, and upper astral. I was going to talk about the different astral levels in this video, but I realized the information was a bit lengthy. So I'm going to go ahead and upload a part 2. If you are interested in learning about the different astral levels, go ahead and check out part 2 of this video. I will go ahead and link it down below. It should be up the day following the upload of this current video. Okay, back to the video now. So one thing that I want to show you guys is something that one of the survivors was shown during her near-death experience that also really resonated with me. So there's actually a whole YouTube channel called Coming Home, and it focuses on interviewing people that have had an NDE, near-death experience. And one of the girls there, again, she says the exact same things that the doctors said during their own near-death experience, of not wanting to leave, of experiencing this feeling of coming home, of being met with guides, with immense love, seeing beautiful colors. Again, they all share the same story. But another thing she talked about was how her guide that was guiding her through this journey, she showed her kind of like a life review of all of her life up until then, and how her actions influenced other people, how she had the ability to do that. And she was shown this very specific clip, she described it, of how when she was younger, her and her sister were having this argument, and she said something in that moment that she didn't say what she had told her sister, but I guess it was something really hurtful, and how it impacted her sister in that moment. And she just was crying and stuff. That's something many of them talk about. That's something Dolores Cannon talks about a lot, actually, is how when we pass on, we are shown a life review of how we impact people in our lives, both good and bad. And that all determines where we go after that. So another thing she was shown that I wanted to share with you guys was the topic of destiny. Hope you guys can see that fine, but she basically describes how there is such a thing as destiny, and there are different paths that you can take that all lead to the same place. There is no such thing as mistakes. They're all part of your path and your purpose. So we do have free will in this sense, but they all tend to lead us to the same place. That is how destiny works. And when she said this was something that really resonated with me to a whole other level. So I wanted to show you guys. I kind of wrote this out as she was talking about it. Dolores Cannon says, we come here to learn emotions and limitations. Those are the two main things. These are not taught on other planets. Earth is a challenging planet. Another controversial topic, the topic of, is there life outside of Earth? For me personally, absolutely. Mathematically, there just has to be. There just has to be. You know, there's an infinite number of galaxies out there and planets. I mean, NASA has already discovered other Earth planets, such as Kepler 186f and Kepler 452b. But what I wanted you guys to primarily get from this video is that we are all met with love after we pass over. We are all connected. We are all one at the end of the day. So if you have someone that has passed over, they are able to send you signs. You might have already seen some of those signs. If you have someone very dear to you that passed over, don't doubt those signs. Those signs are sent to you for a reason. We have the capability of doing that once we pass over as well. Trust me, because we are all connected, you guys. I know, me personally, I truly do believe that we are met with infinite love. We are met with our guides because we are never alone. When we're over there, all we're gonna look back on is what difference we made here on Earth. What you say to other people, all of that will come back. It's all karma. You carry that energy with you of what you do, of the things you say. You impact other people. Trust that your impact is big. Your impact has the capability of branching out in all sorts of different ways for people. We come here to learn, make the best of it. Make the best of it. Be kind, be loving. Watch what you say to other people. It really does matter. Trust me, it really does matter. Be kind to yourself. And if you've had someone that's passed on, celebrate their lives. Trust me, they would rather you celebrate it than you constantly beating yourself up about it, okay? You deserve to be free. They want you to know that you deserve to be free. You deserve to feel love. Send them love. Accept their love that they sent to you in many ways, I'm sure. Be open to that love. Be open to their messages. And yeah, that's all I want to talk about here today. I know it was a big topic and there's so much more to be talked about in regards to this topic, so much more to say. But this is just me keeping it very brief. I hope this was able to expand your mind, my loves. I hope you guys all have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.